Hi, everyone. I'm Mitch Juricich, and welcome to Hooked on the Niners.
And I'm Terrell Jones. We'll talk about how the Niners sunk the Buccaneers battleship.
And I'm Dan Brown from the San Jose Mercury News, filling in for Jerry Walker, who's shopping for macadamia nuts. Coming up, we'll preview the Niners game against the Atlanta Falcons, the possible farewell to Monday Night Football.
And we're going to have all that, and we had a guest. I don't know what the hell happened, so that's about it. We'll take a little tour around the league since we don't have Jerry's show and tell right here on Hooked on the Niners.
Hooked on the Niners is supported by the Canyon Inn, 650-369-1646, and on the web at www.canyoninn.com. Bach Construction, 650-344-4844, or on the web at www.bachconstruction.com. Lawson's Wildlife Adventures, 650-504-3400. On the web at www.lawsonwildlifeadventures.com. Tisa's Pepper Jelly, 650-787-2357. And on the web at tisaspepperjelly.com. Check out the Peninsula TV studio with over 2,000 square feet of space in the auditorium of the Samtrans building in San Carlos. One studio, many looks. From a simple talk show to an onstage production, from musical performances to business webcasts, PowerPoint presentations, Skype interviews. With our state-of-the-art control room, we're one mouse click away from going live from our studio to the internet or to Peninsula TV. For more information, call 650-637-1936 or use the Contact Us form at pentv.tv.
Welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. And, guys, I guess we just get right to it. It was a game that a lot of people thought was a trap. Coming off a big win against Seattle and going down to play a Buck team that, might have been a little inflated with their 4 wins of the last 5 games, but, they really didn't play anyone. But East Coast, 10 o'clock time, all that stuff.
Right, coming off the big win against Seattle, so it was poised for emotional letdown, and there wasn't one. They did what they had to do.
Yeah.
And I think it was a big game for Colin Kaepernick. Didn't put up the huge numbers, didn't have huge touchdown totals, but he managed the game beautifully, especially when they needed, a big drive.
Right.
They had a 10.5-minute drive. That's the longest in the NFL this season. And the way he did it, extending plays with his legs, finding the open guys on third downs, that was a big drive for him.
Yeah,
I agree.
I on this show have waffled. I mean, with Kaepernick, we were spoiled by last year,
right?
And then the expectations were too high. He didn't have Crabtree. What's wrong with him? He can't do this. He can't do that. You were coached in this league. He made at least 3 plays on these rollouts and these runs to Crabtree and some other things that he did. The pass to Vernon Davis, 60-something yards in the air on a line. No quarterback in the NFL does that except him.
None?
I don't know of anybody that can roll to the right and throw. He would make Javier Sanchez happy with that one that he threw on the sideline. I don't know another quarterback that can do that. Maybe Russell Wilson. But not with
and possibly Cam Newton. But
okay.
But we've watched him grow, and we've talked about this, that he doesn't have to make the big plays. Like Dan said, as long as he manages the game, and doesn't lose the game,
right,
we're fine, because now you have these other weapons that he can use, and he's doing a great job of distributing the ball.
But Dan, isn't that why most 49er fans were happy that he took over? Well, most, I don't know if it was 50-50 with the Alex Smith or him, but that he was taking over, that we would get away from a guy that was managing the game.
Yeah, well, I think Kaepernick showed, obviously, beyond managing the game, that big touchdown throw to Vernon Davis was huge.
He can win games.
The thing that I thought was encouraging yesterday for 49er fans was Colin was running smart. I mean, it wasn't the panic scramble. It was I'm going to roll around and buy time. I know where the first down marker is. I'm going to get to that spot. You know, he was running. You know, wasn't the deer in the headlights racing through defenders. It was, I know what we need on this play right now, and I'm going to get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, you know, I mean, we got to congratulate, you know, Frank Gore for going over 1,000 yards again. You know, and the thing about Frank Gore, it's nothing flashy with him. It's just all blue-collar work.
Yeah.
You know, just when you think you've got him down, he's like, oh, no, I can get another 3 or 4 yards.
He's starting to get a little bit of that Jim Brown, O.J. Simpson thing where he gets up and you think, oh, man, he's, you know, he kind of comes back to the huddle and then, boom, hits a hole. You know what I mean?
He's playing possum. And I love it.
He's deking him.
I love the way he does it.
Yeah. You know, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, he's the kind of runner where you see him kind of disappear into that pile and you think, oh, no gain.
Yeah.
And then he's 4 yards down the field.
Right, absolutely right. Now, it wouldn't be a talk show if you didn't pick on some things, but we're happy with the victory and all of that. But the time management is still a burr under my saddle. You know, 2 timeouts gone, one on an ill-advised challenge. You know, where Harbaugh challenged on a punt return or something. I forget what it was. They were going to get the ball. No, before the punt. They were going to get the ball around midfield anyway, so why challenge it? But 2 timeouts gone before the first half of the first quarter.
Right.
So, are the plays getting in too late? I heard this morning, Ted Robinson, who I just love his work, was saying that he thought a lot of it was guys don't know where to line up.
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
You know, I think that it could be the plays coming in. I think, you know, sometimes you get kind of nonchalant, a little lackadaisical, and say, okay, you know, we're going to call this, and they get up there and then they don't realize that there's so much movement that you have to do.
Right.
You know, so I just think people just lose track of it, but it's something they have to definitely work on.
We do see a lot of, no, come on, get over here, get over here, and that just, I mean, it's week 50. You know, I wouldn't even give it to you in week 1 because you have all year to work on this stuff. Right. I don't know why, you know, okay, week 15 you should be doing it. No, you should be doing it in week 1.
Right.
You know,
it's the kind of thing where we used to, a few years ago, we'd say, oh, you know, they've been changing offensive coordinators, they're new to the system, but you know, now that's out the window.
That is out the window.
The challenges are interesting to me because we've seen a few times this season where Harbaugh has made basically a crazy challenge, right? But I think it's great insight into Harbaugh's mindset because it's almost like he can will it to be the other way. Like,
exactly.
You guys don't get it. You know, he was in bounds.
He also seems to think if he yells loud enough, long enough, that somebody's going to go, I'm sorry, we'll pick that up. You know, I mean, that just isn't going to happen.
Well, you know, and then also, too, we have to talk about the composure of the team.
Yeah.
Crabtree throwing that ball.
Boy,
Come on,
boy. You know, that's right down here. Talk about irritating. To me, I get it. I get pro football. But to me, that's go sit down until you know how to act.
Well, yeah.
I was stunned. He was right back on the field and made a good play and redeemed himself.
But still, it's 15 yards. Are you going to do that when the playoffs hit as well? Are you going to do that during a crucial game?
Yeah.
You know, and we've talked about this all year.
You're right.
Some of the composure that the players are not showing, it's going to come back and bite them.
Well, I kind of looked at it, too, in sort of a bizarre way sitting at home. Was he mad at Kaepernick because Kaepernick didn't get him the ball and he threw it away? That's kind of throwing your quarterback under the bus, as they like to say nowadays. Now, if that is the case, what happens the next time that Kaepernick throws him one right there and he drops it and Kaepernick's going to, come up and get the ball and throw it in the stands?
I looked at it as he was just frustrated with himself that he doesn't have the speed that he did last year before he got hurt. That's the way I looked at it, that he knows that last year he would have had it.
Boy, I had
the same reaction that you did because he was open and he was heading for a touchdown and he had a couple steps on his guy and he didn't get the touchdown. Now, the way his quotes after the game made it sound like, hey, I'm frustrated. I wanted to make a play.
Right.
It could go either way. It could have been, I could have been there. The throw could have been there. He just wanted the touchdown regardless, and that's why he was frustrated. But I did think, is he mad that Cap just blew that throw?
Well, you know, you got to look at it, too. He is a wide receiver, and they're divas.
Oh,
they're the divas throughout the league.
And I think in the second segment when we go around the league, we might be talking about somebody in Dallas. But, you know, we'll get to that. Speaking of wide receivers that I personally don't see as a diva, we talked about Anquan Bolden.
Did you see that one-handed catch?
Oh, come
on.
Oh,
my goodness.
How do you do that? How about the one where it was third and, I'm going to make it up, 6, 7, or 8 yards, and he catches it at about 4, breaks 3 tackles, gets the first down. And this guy is just an animal.
He's a man. I'll tell you what, if I was a DB and there's a run play or the ball's not thrown to him, my head's on a swivel.
Yeah.
Because you know he's going to try to knock your head off.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
He's one of these guys that you can take right now and put him back to the 70s and 80s. He's that type of player.
Play for anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Well, remember when he was in
Arizona,
and he got hit at the goal line, and it shifted his face?
Well, he fractured his face, so they had to put screws and plates in his face, and he came back and played that season.
Yeah.
Yeah, really quickly.
Exactly. Yeah. Right, pretty quickly. Yeah.
And there were all the questions like, psychologically, are you ready? Let's go play.
Yeah, right.
And now you can see that now. It's the same mentality. Bring on anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Screw his face back on. What are we talking about? Before we go, the defense. The old adage, defense travels. For the life of me, I was telling you when you got here this morning, how do you give up 30 yards and a half, and with about 4 minutes left or 3 minutes left, the other team goes 80 yards and scores on you like you weren't even on the field? I can't, those dots won't connect for me. Prevent defense? Why would you? Prevent is the last couple of minutes of the game.
Right.
What did we do? I'm not smart enough to figure out what we did wrong.
I think, you just get to that point where the game is over with.
No, this was the first half.
Oh, the first half. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I just think they just got a little lax. That's all.
I didn't think, the thing, they didn't look like a breakdown to me. I thought they were playing pretty good defense at that time. I thought Tampa had just made some plays. It didn't look like, miscommunication, guys out of position. I thought, for that drive, the Buccaneers were on their game. Yeah. And the throws were right where they had to be. And maybe there's some let up that I couldn't sense. I mean, visually I couldn't see it.
Yeah. Well, I go back to when I was doing a show in San Jose with Jan Hutchins, and we had Joe Montana once as a guest, and he says, you always have to remember, they have players and coaches too. Yeah. So anyhow, all right, we'll talk a little bit more about the Tampa Bay game, and we'll go around the league in the next segment, since we don't have show and tell right here on Hooked on the Niners. I remember Joe saying that. Yeah. They have players and coaches too.
It looked like the Bucs. Vincent Jackson got ticked off.
Hooked on the Niners is supported by California Catering, San Mateo, 650-345-4881. On the web at CaliforniaCateringSanMateo.com. California Catering, South San Francisco, 650-589-0729. On the web at www.california-catering-company.com. California Catering, Emerald Hills, 650-369-4200. On the web at www.cacateringcompany.com. Bay 101 Casino, 408-451-8888. On the web at bay101.com.
Hi, I'm Katie Roletto, and I'm a local professional media producer. Thanks to Penn TV's volunteer program, I was able to expand upon my experience and gain some amazing training in the areas of television production right here in the Bay Area. The staff at Penn TV is very skilled and experienced in all aspects of technical production and really helped me learn and grow. If you're interested in finding out more about Penn TV's volunteer program, please visit them at www.penntv.tv and click on the volunteer tab. Thanks, Penn TV.
All right, welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. Just a little bit more about the game against Tampa Bay. I thought it was kind of interesting that at one point there, when the 49ers were having their way with Tampa Bay, the only thing that could stop the Niners was the wall behind the end zone when Vernon Davis
made a great hit.
Exactly.
It stood its ground. My son was saying that's probably a good place for a guy to learn a pop-up slide. The old baseball slide and come up before you run into that. That looked like he was woozy for a few minutes. And then, did you guys see the one shot on the sidelines of Harbaugh taking smelling salts? Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
What happened to him? Intense.
He was thinking that he was a player again.
Yeah, probably hyperventilating from all the yelling that he was doing. But anyhow, Vernon Davis, a deep threat at tight end. We're not getting it out of the wide receiver position. And as we said earlier in the show, that pass,
it was beautiful.
That was 60-something yards on the money, but probably lower than the ceiling in this studio. I mean, that thing was just a rocket.
Yeah. The thing that, among the things that impresses me about Vernon Davis is, I think his rookie season, second season, he might drop that ball.
Right.
Yeah. And he's the guy who stays, you know, fans probably know this by now, but he stays after practice, takes the jug machine, and will catch hundreds of balls, close range, far range. They'll dial it up to full strength. And he's really worked on his hands over the years.
Right, because he's a body catcher.
Right, body catcher.
Yeah.
And so that ball's in the air, and you think, will Vernon bring this down? And now he brings it down.
Yeah.
And he's earned that. He's worked for that. So I give him credit for that.
Yeah, I agree.
One thing that came out, I think, late yesterday was the 49ers are going to restructure Coach Harbaugh's contract, supposedly, if the rumors are true.
Right.
I don't know if that comes on the heels of all the rumors going to Texas.
Yeah.
And then I've heard through the grapevine that a lot of what that has to do with is Jim, I think, would like more say in personnel. Anybody heard that?
I haven't heard that, but
Okay.
I mean, if that's the case, I think that's where you kind of mix in church and state a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, because it hasn't really worked out in the past.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, as much as I respect and admire Trent Baalke for, a lot of the drafts,
done a great job.
Yeah, he has. But the 2012 draft was a whiff.
Yeah.
I mean,
A.J. Jenkins.
A.J. Jenkins, who I saw him making tackles on special teams for Kansas City yesterday.
Well, he's actually playing now. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And LaMichael James was kind of good yesterday, but and then after that, I mean, there's just not a lot of there's not a whole lot of stuff that came out of that draft. So I don't know. Maybe that's something that he's looking for.
But I mean, you're not going to have a great draft every year.
No.
Look
no,
what they've done as far as stockpiling draft picks, and some of the players that they have drafted and brought in from before. Now you can put them where they need to be.
Sure.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
I will say that Harbaugh, I think what he wants, he will get, because his leverage at this point is going to be enormous.
Unbelievable.
Huge personality, popular coach, very successful, pretty much no downtime since he's taken over. So his leverage, plus with another job out there like a Texas where he can float the name out there, and all of a sudden the price goes up even higher. So he's in a good spot.
Yeah. And if he wins one more game this year, he'll be I think the first 49er coach to win 11 games in 3 or more in 3 consecutive seasons. Even Bill didn't do that. All right, let's jump around the league a little bit. Why don't we start with Dallas? Isn't it just amazing how the fourth quarter interception is coming? We all know it, right? You know it.
Well, they were up by 23 points.
Yeah.
And you're playing against a Packer team that doesn't have Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And Matt Flynn just sliced and diced them.
Oh,
and then,
smoked them.
Then they put Romo in a position to where he's going to fall flat on his face again.
And checked out of a running play for one of the interceptions that he threw.
Well, did you hear Jason Garrett this morning?
No.
Or afterwards? Basically threw him under the bus. He said, we called a play.
Yeah.
And he changed the play on us.
Yeah.
So.
But the crazy thing is, Dallas is still in a playoff spot.
You know what?
Yeah. They went out there, they're in.
I talked about not being able to connect dots before. Yeah. I cannot get my arms. I don't. Every time I watch them on television, they lose a big game late like that. And well, that's it for the Cowboys. And then if they went out, they control
their own destiny.
Right.
Here's what I wanted to throw your way. Are you the guy? Some writer, I'm just pointing at you. Are you if this team wins and that team loses and these two team ties, then this team is in the. Are you that guy?
The scenario guy?
Yeah, right.
No, I'm not the scenario guy.
Good, you're not smart enough to follow the scenarios.
Definitely not. Plus, the NFL is, and they send a very detailed press release every week, laying it all out.
You get press releases.
A press release. It's an NFL playoff scenarios. If this wins, and you still got to be smart enough to read it because there's a lot of parameters to each. But yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I'm sure you have to kind of take that now. If this team wins, and you're trying to figure.
I started doing that maybe next week.
What's wrong with playing the games, and then at the end figure out, okay, you're in, you're not, right? I mean, do you really need to know all that?
The teams that are doing that are the ones on the bubble, right?
Right.
Is my team going to make it? Do we have a chance? I saw yesterday that the Raiders were eliminated from playoff contention. So
yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
What's their record? 4-10?
Yeah.
They just got eliminated.
So you can cross them off the list.
But you look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is still mathematically still in.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. Do you think the NFL's got to do something about the seeding? That a 10-4 division winner could have an advantage over a 10-6 division winner could have an advantage over a 12-4 team.
I don't think so.
No?
No.
You like it the way it is?
I love it the way it is.
Okay.
Because if you win your division,
yeah,
then you should get that. You should get that seeding.
All
Why
right.
not?
All right.
But
what if you know there's a team out there that's better than you?
That's your fault.
Okay.
Right, that's going to happen, right? Because
exactly.
the Eagles or somebody will win the NFC East.
Right.
But the Niners are going to be better.
Right.
As the wild card.
Right.
Yeah.
I've complained openly on this show about Colin Kaepernick's press conferences, that are very, short, not sweet, but succinct, and one-word answers. He was a lot better yesterday, I thought. So I don't know if somebody has said something to him. But then we saw Tom Brady walk away from his press conference.
72 seconds.
What's that?
72 seconds.
Was Tom's, with a couple of words in there that his mom's probably mad about. Yeah.
But it shows, that he's human.
Of course, they all are. They all are.
Yeah.
But for the most part, Tom is not that way.
No, he's been throughout his career, and they've lost some other tough games this season, and he's taken the high road.
Absolutely.
And maybe yesterday he just couldn't do it.
I think when you look around, and I mean no offense to Danny Amendola or Julian Edelman, those are not, to me, in my humble opinion, never having played, first-rate NFL receivers. Those are fit-in pieces, slot guys, right?
Right. No, and you're right.
Yeah.
But that tells you, though, how good Tom Brady actually is.
God almighty.
With
nothing there.
Right. And then you got a guy like Ben Vereen where you target him 12 times who's a running back.
Right.
So that tells you exactly that they're like down at the bottom of, of their players right now.
And Gronkowski obviously made a big difference. He's back. The thing that was interesting to me when what Brady said was usually if there's a last-second collapse, he'll say, I need to make better plays.
Right.
Yesterday it was the we.
Yeah.
And for him, I thought that was a notable difference. We need to play better in the red zone.
Absolutely. They're giving me the hook, but I can't go without saying Eli Manning, 5 interceptions. Good night, nurse. I don't know what's going on in New York, and I'm glad I'm not there. When we come back, we'll preview the game against Atlanta, maybe some Candlestick memories, and who knows whatever else we'll do right here on Hooked on the Niners. No, can you imagine how the media is after him? 5 interceptions.
Incredible.
They get shut out against Seattle.
What happened to him?
Hooked on the Niners is supported by Parkside Grill, 650-529-9007. On the web at www.parksidegrill.net. Handlery Hotel, 1-800-995-HUSH. The website is www.handlery.com. Poplar Creek Golf Course, 650-522-4653. And on the web at www.poplarcreekgolf.com. Eddie Perez and Company, 650-363-5904. On the web at www.eperezpainting.com. Armstrong Carpet and Linoleum Company, 415-751-2827. On the web at www.armstrongcarpet.com.
All right, welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. A little nostalgia coming up for the 49ers and their fans with the game against Atlanta with Candlestick. Probably the last game played there. Now, we made fun of Dan being the what-if guy. We were trying to figure out if there's a chance that the 49ers could have a game at home. It involved us being a 5 seed and a 6 seed. And then we kind of dropped the ball and couldn't figure it out from there. So anyhow, we think
we don't have that much time, not enough brain power around here anyway.
Right, exactly.
So.
But Candlestick Park for you, how many years have you covered the Niners?
Since 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had.
I grew up in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
The thing I've been working on Candlestick farewell stories and asking a lot of former players, what are you going to miss about the place? Do you have any favorite memories? And the lack of sentimentality for this place is pretty astonishing.
Yeah.
Are you going to miss it? No.
Yeah.
It was terrible. I think that it's the kind of place where 20 years from now we'll look back and say, "Oh, charming old Candlestick Park."
Yeah. No,
but now you go there on game days, you're not thinking, "Boy, I'm going to miss this place."
Yeah, it's just kind of like when a real ugly man dies and they say, "Oh, he was wonderful." No, he wasn't. He was an SOB when he was alive. He is now. He's in a better place. No, exactly. Myself personally, having had season tickets out there since the Niners have been out there. I only have to go there for 3 hours, 4 hours counting driving, right? Mm-hmm. How much comfort do you need? I was always fine with it. I had a good seat and I didn't care. But I imagine once I step into the new place and see the comfort that you have, just like when I left Candlestick and went to AT&T Park. I mean, that's the ballpark's an attraction.
No, but I mean, of course I've got fond memories. working there for 7 years.
Sure.
I remember the first time that I got on the field. This is when '97 we had Dolman and Jerry and Woodson and Steve, and I was just like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
But then of course the playoff game against the Giants. Which I was a part of as well. That was huge.
Yeah.
But then I remember coming back when I was with the Buccaneers, and I started walking into the home locker room. I was like, oh, wait a minute, wrong place. But then I go into the visitors' locker room, and I never realized how small it was.
Yeah.
It is so small.
It ain't big.
I was like, are you kidding me? But, but I can understand why they had it like that. Because when you're a visitor and you're walking into that locker room, and it's so small, and everybody's like this trying to get dressed,
right.
Your mind kind of just wanders a little bit. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you do have, for as crummy as the place is, you do have to salute the history that's been made there. That's the site of the catch.
Yes. Yeah.
And that Monday night when I'm at the game, I'm going to make sure to wander down there before the game and
stand on that sod.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've done that a couple of times. That, for me, was the moment, this was the first championship for the 49ers in '81 and, playing Dallas. And everyone knows the story. But I still, to that day, we were all standing, most of us hyperventilating. I still remember Joe throwing that ball, and I thought, smart. Throw it away, live for another. We won. Yeah, okay. See, they like the story, too. I thought you guys were going to say touchdown. which it was. That was almost perfect timing. Yeah. Right. I guess we should talk about, who are they playing? Atlanta.
Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons. Yeah. On the surface, looks like no problem. Huh?
But, okay, so let's look at the game from yesterday with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Redskins had 7 turnovers. And the Redskins still had a chance to win this game.
Went for the 2-point conversion.
Exactly.
And didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
it's incredible to me to think last year this was the NFC Championship game.
Right.
Falcons and Niners.
Right.
Boy, that is right. I didn't think of that. And
that's
that's probably why it was scheduled.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thinking this will be a big late season NFC showdown of heavyweights.
These people probably get in these boardrooms to figure out the schedules and let's do this, and this, months and months in advance.
And they look at it because they're like, okay, what's going to bring in the most money?
Right, exactly right. There's no question. Well, I guess hands in the middle, 49er victory. Yes. Probably double digits, I would think, huh?
I would think so.
Something like that, but just goes to show you, while you're out there watching this game or watching from home, how quickly it can all go downhill.
Not for long.
Yeah,
the
right.
NFL.
That's what the NFL stands for, not for long. Dan, thanks for sitting in for Jerry. We hope he's supposed to be out someplace in Hawaii buying us a bunch of macadamia nuts.
Yeah.
And as I wrote in my email to him, I hope they're encased in one of those cream pies, which is really good. All right, that's it. Good luck to the 49ers. We'll see you next week right here on Hooked on the Niners. He's going to come back with a tan. And just, you watch him when he comes back from Hawaii. His shoulders are down.